Here's the mental math, all done for you. Letter A is this, because this times this equals this. I have a student at the table that could hear me when I talk, and I don't want to give the answers away because they're doing it right now. This one is 3 times 4, which is 12, then to the -7, but that's not the final answer because we have to put it in proper scientific notation. So there you go. This one, we just go add those together. So 3 times something equals 45. That something equals 15. Convert 30 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. That's what we get here. Letter E, we just say 1/3 of 600 is 200. And then if it's 200 less than 600, we get 400. Okay, moving on. We are working on, actually I've already taught you this before, and so the book didn't expect that I would teach the positive and negatives this way already, so they are showing you what I've already showed you. So number one basically is to do it just the way I said. We multiply these 5 numbers and we figure out if it's positive or negative. Well, we've got 3 negative signs, so it's going to be negative, and then we just have to multiply. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36, and the reason I did it that way is because I know these two together make 10. So 36 times 10 is 360. Okay. This is same thing I know that we've done before. Remember, this means that we have 4 negative 2's. So in actuality, that's what that means, right? -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. So that's going to be a positive answer. And 2 to the 4th power, oops, I'm not even going to write the plus sign. I'm just going to say 2 to the 4th power means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Sometimes I think of it this way as 4 times 4. So 4 times 4, 2 to the 4th power is 16. -2 to the 4th power is 16 because there are 4 negatives. In this case, we have 5 negatives because it's to the 5th power, so we know it's going to be negative, okay? And if 2 to the 4th is 16, 2 to the 5th is double that 16, which is 32. Okay? Now this is a little different. We are going to, well, this part's not different, multiplying terms, okay? We're going to review that and then divide terms, okay? So 4a squared b times ab, we multiply the 4 times the coefficient over here, which is that ghostly 1. 4 times 1 is 4. And now we look at our a's. A to the 2nd power and a to the 1st power gives us a to the 3rd power, 2 plus 1. Remember, we add exponents. So I'm just going to write add exponents because we're going to do something different for division. Okay, b times b is b squared. Okay, so let's, for fun, pretend that we had 4a squared b over ab, and it was a division problem. Okay, go ahead and write this, and let's see if we can simplify this. Now, we've done this a lot where I tell you if you have the same thing on top and bottom, you can cancel them out, cross them out, because they actually become a ghostly 1, right? So here's another thing for you to realize is that when we divide, which is what this fraction is, we subtract exponents, whereas here we added them. So we take 1 away from the other. So if we had a 1 here, these ghostly 1s, b to the 1, b to the 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So you end up with b to the 0. And b to the 0 means 1. Remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. So we subtract exponents. But when they're the same thing, we can just cross them out. So if we subtract exponents, we have 2 minus the exponent of this a down there is a 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1, and because the 2 is dominant, the 1, we end up with this, 4 to my a to the 1, or 4a. Okay, so we're subtracting the top minus the bottom. In algebra, well, no, I guess in example 4 we will show you what happens. It's going to be a little different. Okay, but for example 3 it won't be too bad. Okay, what we do here is, let's take care of our coefficients first. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, now we have x to the third and x to the second. 3 minus 2 is 1. So we get x to the 1, but I'm not going to write 1. All right. Now we have y, our y's. We have y to the 1 over y to the 1, and remember those just cancel out. Okay, and then z squared has no 1 to play with. Poor z squared. So that's how we simplify that. I'll show you how to do example 4 without the subtractions. We're going to expand these guys. Okay, we're going to expand the top and the bottom. Okay, so if we expand the top, we could even do the prime factorization. That means 2 times 5, right? 10 is 2 times 5. That's the prime factorization. And then we have 3 a's. We have a b, and we have 2 c's. Okay, and we're going to do that to the bottom. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. A, b times b, and c. And we get to cross out pairs, and they reduce to 1, right? So we cross those out, those become a 1. And we can cross out our b's, those simplify to a 1. Now this b doesn't have any 1 on top, we got an a, so we can cross them out in pairs, okay? And it looks like we got a 2. The book shows the 1, I just cross them out, okay? But it's probably good for you to know that they don't just go away, but they become 1. All right, so now what we have left with, once we've done all the crossing, is we have A's and C's on the top and B on the bottom. So we have 5, 2 A's, so we have A squared C. And on the bottom we have 2 times 2, which is 4, and we have B. And there it is simplified. Okay. And we could have done that with all of these as well, expanded it out, okay? So those are both ways. If we had done the subtraction, if you want to think of it a little more advanced, you can kind of see why we end up with a b downstairs and not upstairs. Because 1 minus 2, 1 is smaller than 2. So 2 minus 1, and they stay downstairs. Okay. Some of you might not have understood what I just said, and that's okay, because next year we will deal with this, and especially in, yeah, we will do this a lot next year in algebra. Okay, so now you have the practice. Go ahead and get started on that. Pause the movie, turn off the movie, whatever you want to do, but you know where to find help if you need it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to first count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know my answer is negative. And I see that this is a 20, this is a 6. So 20 times 6 times 1 is 120. All right, so this one, again, we have a 20 and a 6. But this time we have 1, 2 negative, so it's going to be a positive answer. Okay. All right, so on C, we can even look at these right away, since these negatives are included in the parenthesis. If this is an odd number, we know the answer is negative, even, positive, odd, negative. So I'm just going to write a negative on the ones that we said negative and be done with that. Now I just need to know what 2 cubed is, or 2 to the 3rd power, and that is 8. 3 to the 4th power. Okay. Now, some of you might okay, that's 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 80, or 27. I don't know what 3 times 27 is. So instead, what I do is think of it this way. I pair them up. It's 9 times 9. So that will be 81. Okay, 9 squared is also 81. And 1 to the 5th is 1. But it's negative 1 because we already dealt with our negatives. Okay, so this one, let's go ahead and do prime factorization. and see what we are left with. Okay, so my 3's, my A's, and a B. So what's left is 2AB squared C and nothing on the bottom, or a 1. Okay? And this one, let's go 2 times 2 times 2. And, whoops. Sorry, my crying dog is distracting me just slightly. Okay. And cross out our x's, cross out our y's. So it looks like what we have on top is 4y squared z squared over 3x. Now if you happen to have the same letter on top and bottom when you're done, it means you have not finished simplifying. Okay? Here's the last one. So 15 is 3 times 5. Okay, and so we cross those out. Ooh, all the ends get to cross out. That was nice. Our 5's. So now it looks like we have 3p on top and 5m on the bottom. 3p over 5m. And there you go. That's the end of the story. We will see you on the next lesson.